My girlfriend scoffed. "Please, you'd never survive without me." I replied, "Is that so?" Then I took the promotion abroad, booked temporary housing, and requested mail redirection. When she showed up at my old place with a speech prepared, the new tenant opened the door instead. I, 35 male, have always considered myself a competent man. As a civil engineer for a massive multinational firm, I manage complex infrastructure projects that require precision and foresight. I can, despite what my now ex-girlfriend might believe, successfully match my own socks. Yet, for the past 5 years I've existed in a state of curated helplessness, a role carefully crafted for me by Bianca, 34. Our relationship began with a whirlwind of charm. Bianca works in high-end public relations. Her world is image, perception, and curation. When she moved into my apartment 3 years ago, she brought that professional skill set home. My life became her new project. It started small. She'd pick out my clothes, sighing that my own taste was tragically pedestrian. She reorganized my kitchen, declaring my system logically unsound. She took over our social calendar, slowly filtering out my old comfortable friends in favor of her more vibrant and socially advantageous circle. Every act of control was framed as an act of loving improvement. She wasn't being controlling, she was elevating my lifestyle. She wasn't isolating me, she was curating our social brand. And I, a man who has always valued peace in his personal life over confrontation, let it happen. It was easier to cede control of the dinner plans or my wardrobe than to engage in the same circular argument every night. I was the classic frog in boiling water, slowly being cooked in a broth of condescending affection. The temperature rose so gradually that I had convinced myself the warmth was comfort. My one true private passion is building hyper-detailed architectural models. In a small spare room, I have a workshop where I've built replicas of the Golden Gate Bridge and the Sydney Opera House, complex structures requiring immense patience. Bianca called it my tinkering room, and the models my dusty little toys. She didn't see the skill. She saw a childish habit that clashed with the image of the high-powered couple she was trying to project. The boiling point was reached 2 months ago. My boss, Mr. Davies, offered me the opportunity of a lifetime. Lead engineer on our company's new flagship bridge project in the European headquarters. It was a 2-year posting, a massive promotion, and the kind of career-defining work I had only dreamed of. I was ecstatic for about an hour, the time it took me to get home and tell Bianca. I expected excitement. Instead, I got a frown of logistical annoyance. "Europe?" she said, not looking up from her tablet. "For 2 years? What a hassle. I'll have to find all new contacts, and the shipping will be a nightmare. We'll have to put most of this ugly furniture in storage." The "we" was instantaneous and absolute. There was no discussion. She immediately began planning her new life, talking about which district she'd prefer, the kind of apartment she would need for entertaining, and how this would be a fantastic opportunity to reinvent our brand on an international stage. My career achievement was merely a new backdrop for her social ambitions. I was thinking, I started cautiously, that maybe I would go alone for the first couple of months, settle into the job, find my footing. She finally looked up, her face a perfect mask of disbelief. She let out a short, sharp laugh, a sound of pure, unadulterated dismissal. "Go alone?" she scoffed, her voice dripping with pity. "Please, Liam. You'd never survive without me. You can barely match your own socks. You'd be living on takeout and wearing a wrinkled suit within a week. Don't be ridiculous." And that was it. The water hit a rolling boil. All my accomplishments, my professional competence, my entire adult life, erased by that single cutting sentence. She didn't see a partner. She saw a helpless dependent, a project she managed, a well-paying pet she had successfully house-trained. A strange calm washed over me. The years of resentment and swallowed arguments solidified into a single cold point of purpose. I looked at her, the woman who thought she had built me, and made a decision. "Is that so?" I said, my voice quiet. She didn't notice the shift. "Of course it is, sweetie. Now let's look at apartments." I didn't argue. I just nodded, letting her believe she had won. The next morning I walked into Mr. Davies' office and formally accepted the promotion. The project started in 60 days. Then I began the most complex engineering project of my life, the complete and silent disentanglement of my existence from Bianca's. I operated in two parallel worlds. In one, I was the dutiful boyfriend, listening to her plans for our move. In the other, I was a man executing a meticulous escape. Step 1. The new life. I contacted my company's international relocation department, explaining that my domestic partnership was ending and the separation needed to be discreet. They were professionals. They arranged for a premium, furnished corporate apartment for my first 3 months and a travel stipend, with all communication routed to my private work email. Step 2. The old life. I gave my landlord my formal 60-day notice of termination. The lease, solely in my name, would end on August 15th. My flight was booked for the evening of August 14th. I then used a service to find a new tenant who signed a lease to move in on August 16th. The apartment was no longer mine after my departure. Step 3. The possessions. This was the most complex phase. I hired the movers recommended by my company with a very specific mandate. All of my personal belongings, clothes, books, and especially my architectural models, were to be professionally packed for international shipping. All of Bianca's belongings were to be packed with equal care and moved to a top-tier, climate-controlled storage unit in her name. I paid for the first 3 months in advance. To her, I explained that relocation specialists were coming to do a full assessment for our international move. Her arrogance was my camouflage. She was so consumed with planning her European debut that she never bothered to inspect the details. Step 4. The digital trail. I filed a mail redirection form with the post office. I bought a new phone and arranged for a new number to be activated the moment I left the country. The final weeks were surreal. I would come home from work to Bianca excitedly showing me pictures of Parisian cafes while I had just spent my lunch hour confirming shipping insurance. The most therapeutic part was packing my models myself. I built custom foam inserts, carefully wrapping each delicate structure. One evening, Bianca poked her head into my workshop. "Are you still playing with your little toys, Liam? I need help with the color palette for the new living room." "Just securing my dusty old papers," I replied, my voice neutral. The day of my flight, August 14th, arrived. The movers had come and gone. My things were on a ship crossing the Atlantic. Her things were in a secure storage unit. The apartment was empty, a blank slate. Bianca was at a celebratory farewell brunch with her friends. She planned to meet me at the apartment at 6 p.m., and we would go to the airport together to begin our adventure. At 4 p.m., I stood alone in the empty apartment. I took a photo of the storage unit key and access card, which I had left with the unit's front office manager under her name. I attached the picture to a text, along with the facility's address and the unit number. I sent it. Then I put my old phone in an electronics recycling bin at the airport. I took my seat on the plane, turned on my new phone, and looked out the window as the ground fell away. I didn't feel anger or sadness. I just felt the quiet, powerful hum of a massive engine lifting me into the future. Update 1. It's been 3 weeks since I landed. My new city is a beautiful chaos, and my corporate apartment is sleek, modern, and blessedly quiet. The job is even more challenging than I'd hoped. The freedom is intoxicating, but it's also daunting. For the first week, I'd wake up with a jolt of panic, a phantom feeling that I'd missed a step, that Bianca would somehow walk through the door and start reorganizing my new life. I didn't have to wonder long about her reaction. After 48 hours of silence, my old secondary email account became a war zone. Reading the flood of messages from her friends, and her mother was like piecing together the timeline of a distant explosion. She must have finished her brunch, tried calling my disconnected phone, and then seen my text with the storage unit key. Confused, she would have gone to the apartment at 6 p.m. as planned, ready to take her helpless boyfriend on their grand adventure. And the new tenant would have opened the door. I can picture her pushing past him, demanding to know what he was doing in her apartment. The slow, dawning horror as he explained he'd signed a lease a month ago. The world she had curated dissolving on a stranger's doorstep. Her first email was pure, sputtering rage, demanding to know where I was and what I had done with her things. The messages that followed were a mix of threats, pleas, and accusations. Then came the emails from her proxies. Her best friend, Chloe, was the enforcer, calling me a monster and an evil person who had left Bianca destroyed and homeless. Her mother tried the guilt trip, writing about how this cruel behavior wasn't the boy she knew. But the real escalation, the dirty trick I had anticipated, came through my new HR department. My boss, Mr. Davies, called me into his office. "Liam," he said, looking concerned, "we received a rather distressing call at your old office. A woman identifying herself as your fiancée, Bianca, called claiming there was a dire family emergency, a medical crisis with your mother. She was hysterical, demanding your new contact details and flight information." My blood ran cold. My mother is in perfect health. "Thankfully," Mr. Davies continued, "our staff followed protocol. Given your discreet relocation request, they flagged it as suspicious and refused to provide any information. They told her that, in a true emergency, they would contact me to relay the message." She hung up. I explained the whole situation to him. The controlling relationship, the "you can't survive without me" comment, my decision to make a clean break. He was professional and supportive, but the incident was a stark reminder of how far she would go. A few days later, a call came through on my new work phone from a number I didn't recognize. I knew I had to face it. "Liam, it's Chloe." Her voice was sharp. "You need to fix this. Now. Bianca is on my couch. Her life is ruined because of you. She can't even get her favorite clothes because you hid them." I took a deep breath. "Hello, Chloe. There's nothing to fix. Bianca's life is her responsibility. She was a guest in my apartment, which I no longer lease. Her things aren't hidden. They are safe in a storage unit. She has the key and address." "A guest? And she can't just get her things. She needs ID to get on the access list, and you didn't put her name on it. You psycho." An honest oversight. "That was a mistake. I've already emailed the facility and authorized them to grant her full access. It's been handled." "Handled?" She scoffed. "You blow up her life, and you think an email handles it? She gave up everything for you." "What did she give up, Chloe?" I asked. "She kept her job and friends. What she lost was access to my apartment and my income. Let's be honest about what this is about. It's about you being a cruel, manipulative coward." "Is it manipulative to accept a promotion?" I countered. "Is it cruel to leave a relationship where I was told I was incompetent?" She made her opinion of me clear. I simply chose to act accordingly. I removed myself so she wouldn't have to carry the burden of managing me anymore. I paused. "And speaking of manipulation, please tell Bianca that my employer was not amused by her fraudulent phone call about a family emergency. They have it documented. Any further attempts by her or by you to contact me will be referred to our corporate legal department as harassment." There was a stunned silence. She likely didn't know about that gambit. "This isn't over, Liam," she finally said, her voice low. "For me, it is," I replied. "I'm building a new life here, one that I'm perfectly capable of managing on my own." I hung up. A few days later, a formal-looking email was forwarded from my company's legal team. It was from a law firm on behalf of their client, Miss Bianca Dubois. The war was moving to a new front. Final update. It's been 6 months since I moved. The initial turbulence has subsided, replaced by the steady, satisfying rhythm of a life I am building on my own terms. My apartment is no longer a temporary placeholder, but a permanent home. I'm excelling at the new job, and I've even found a local hobbyist group for model builders. For the first time, I have people to share my dusty toys with. People who appreciate the skill involved. The legal battle was the final, ugly chapter. Her lawyer's initial letter was a work of pure fiction. She demanded a 5-figure sum for emotional distress and wrongful abandonment. She demanded palimony, claiming non-existent career sacrifices. The most ludicrous demand was for half the value of my assets, which specifically named my collection of architectural models, described as valuable, co-owned art pieces. The hypocrisy of her trying to cash in on the hobby she had relentlessly mocked was breathtaking. I never responded directly. My company's legal department, which handles such matters for international employees, took over. Their response was a masterclass in calm corporate obliteration. Legal status, they pointed out that we were not married, had no joint assets, and no legal partnership. Her claims had no basis. The apartment, they produced the lease agreement solely in my name and the legal notice of termination. She was, legally, a long-term guest. Her possessions, they provided the contract for the storage unit, proving my care in preserving her property. The abandonment claim, they countered this with my signed promotion acceptance and relocation package, dated weeks before my departure, proving my move was a planned, professional step. The counterclaim. The final section was a formal complaint regarding Bianca's actions. They included a log of the harassing emails and a detailed account of her fraudulent phone call to my former office. The letter stated that any further legal action from her would result in the company assisting me in filing a formal complaint for harassment. The response was silence. A week later, my legal team received a one-sentence email stating that Miss Dubois was withdrawing all claims. Faced with a corporate legal department and a potential harassment charge, her bluff had been called. I heard about the aftermath through my sister, Maya. Bianca had to pay her lawyer for his time. After the 3 months I paid for the storage unit, the expensive monthly fee became her responsibility. She eventually had to move her curated belongings into her parents' suburban garage. Her extended stay on Chloe's couch ended when the friend grew tired of being an unpaid therapist. Last Maya heard, Bianca was working a second job to make ends meet, living in a small apartment and constantly complaining about how her cruel ex had ruined her life. There was, as expected, zero self-awareness. My revenge was not an act of aggression but an act of radical self-reliance. I took her at her word. She told me I couldn't survive without her, so I created a life where I had to, proving her, and the part of myself that had believed her, wrong. In my new apartment, my architectural models are displayed on custom-built shelves. I am currently working on my most ambitious project yet, a replica of the Pont de Normandie, a stunning French bridge. It's a complex, beautiful structure, a testament to what one can build with precision, patience, and a clear vision. I don't hate Bianca. I feel a distant pity for her. She is trapped in an image with no foundation. She thought her greatest skill was managing me. In truth, her greatest skill was hiding that she couldn't manage herself. By leaving, I didn't just take away her lifestyle, I took away her project. And I gave myself back to myself. I survived. More than that, I am building something better, stronger, and entirely my own. She declared, "I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. You'd be lost without me." I agreed, probably. Then I got lost in a 6-figure job offer in another country. Her voicemail begging to come was returned to sender. Original post I, 31 male, need to get this off my chest while I'm sitting in the airport lounge waiting for my flight to board. Still processing everything that went down these past few weeks. Melissa, 29, and I were together for 4 years, lived together for the last 2. She's in PR, makes decent money, always dressed like she stepped out of a magazine. Me, I'm a software architect. Not the flashiest job, but I'm good at what I do. The thing about Melissa was she knew she was attractive and successful, and she made sure everyone knew it too, especially me. Trevor, honestly, you're so lucky I'm with you. Do you know how many guys hit on me at networking events? You'd still be wearing those awful cargo shorts if I hadn't fixed your wardrobe. My friends can't believe I'm dating someone who plays video games on weekends. The Greatest Hits collection, played on repeat for 4 years. The breaking point came 3 weeks ago at her company's holiday party. Black tie event, fancy hotel downtown. I'd bought a new tux, her choice obviously. Gotten a haircut, the works. Thought I looked pretty sharp actually. We're at the bar when her colleague Brad walks up. Investment banker type, you know the look. Melissa immediately lights up, touching his arm, laughing at every mediocre joke. "So Trevor, Melissa tells me you work with computers?" "Software architecture, yeah, working on some interesting distributed system stuff." Right, must be nice having stable hours. Banking keeps me busy, but the bonuses, well, someone's gotta fund the lifestyle, right?" Winks at Melissa. Melissa laughs, actually laughs, then says, "Trevor's sweet, but he's not exactly ambitious. I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. He'd be totally lost without me." The whole group goes quiet. Even Brad looks uncomfortable. Me, probably. That's all I said. One word. She took it as agreement and kept going. "See, he knows. I mean, before me, he was basically a hermit. Now look at him. Almost presentable." I excused myself to the bathroom and stood there staring at my reflection. 4 years of this. 4 years of being her project, her fixer-upper boyfriend. And you know what? She was probably right. I probably would be lost without her. But maybe getting lost was exactly what I needed. The next Monday, I did something I'd been putting off for months. Updated my LinkedIn, reached out to a few recruiters. Within days, my inbox exploded. Turns out, my unambitious skill set was in serious demand. One opportunity stood out. A startup in Switzerland, doing cutting-edge work in quantum computing applications. They needed a senior architect. The technical challenge alone was exciting, but the compensation package, base salary, 350,000 CHF, roughly 385,000 USD. Signing bonus, 50,000 CHF. Full relocation package, equity, more than triple what I was making. They flew me out for the interview last week. Told Melissa it was a work conference. Got the offer yesterday. Accepted it this morning. My flight leaves in 3 hours. I left her a note on the kitchen counter. You were right. I'd be lost without you. So I'm getting lost. Permanently. Lease ends in 2 months. Blocked her on everything except email. Need that for logistics. She's probably just getting home from her yoga class right about now. My phone's been off since I left the apartment this morning, but I stopped at a tech store and bought a new phone with a Swiss SIM card. Fresh start. Am I being petty? Maybe. But you know what? After 4 years of being told I'm nothing without her, I want to find out who I actually am. Boarding starts in 20 minutes. Next update from Switzerland, I guess. Update 1, 48 hours later. Holy hell. Sitting in my temporary corporate apartment overlooking Lake Geneva, still jet-lagged, and decided to check the old email. You wanted drama? Melissa delivered a masterclass. Timeline of events after she found my note, based on timestamps. 4:47 p.m. Very funny, Trevor. When are you coming home? This isn't cute. Where are you? I just called your office. They said you resigned. What the hell is going on? Voicemail transcription. Trevor, this is insane. You can't just leave. We have dinner with my parents this weekend. Call me back now. Your stuff is still here. You're obviously coming back. Stop being dramatic. Voicemail. I talked to your friend Marcus. He doesn't know where you are either. Trevor, you're scaring me. This isn't like you. That one made me laugh. No, it wasn't like me. The old me would have apologized for even thinking about leaving. 10 p.m. I'm calling the police if you don't respond. 11:04 p.m. The police said you're an adult and left a note. They won't do anything. I know you're getting these. Then came Wednesday morning when she figured out the email thing. Trevor, we need to talk like adults. You can't just run away from a 4-year relationship. That's not how this works. Whatever this is about, we can fix it. I know I sometimes say things, but you know I don't mean them that way. You're too sensitive. You always have been. And then the kicker. When she must have talked to someone at my old company who knew where I was going. Switzerland? You took a job in Switzerland without discussing it with me? That's completely unacceptable. We're partners, Trevor. You don't make unilateral decisions like this. I demand you decline that offer and come home immediately. We can look for better opportunities for you here together. As a couple. I actually laughed out loud at that one. We're partners? When did that start? When she was telling everyone I'd be lost without her? When she was describing me as her charity case to Brad? But the best part came about an hour ago. A new email with the subject line, I'm coming to Switzerland. Trevor, I've thought about it, and maybe this could work for us. I can do PR anywhere, and Switzerland could be an adventure. I've already started looking at apartments online. We'll need at least a 2-bedroom, and I'll need a car. I assume your package includes housing assistance? Send me the details so I can start planning. We should talk about engagement rings too. If we're moving internationally together, we should make it official. My flight gets in Friday at 2 p.m. Pick me up at the airport. We have a lot to discuss. The entitlement. The absolute breathtaking entitlement. She bought a ticket. She actually bought a plane ticket to Switzerland, assuming I'd just, welcome her with open arms? Set her up with a new life? After everything, my response, Melissa, do not come to Switzerland. You are not welcome here. We are not together. We will never be together again. This is not a discussion or negotiation. The apartment lease and utilities need to be transferred to your name or terminated. My portion of this month's rent is on the kitchen counter. My belongings can be donated or disposed of. I've taken everything I need. Any further contact should be regarding logistics only. Trevor. Her response was immediate. You don't get to just end things, Trevor. I've invested 4 years in you. In US, I made you who you are. That job you have, you only got it because I pushed you to be better. Because I motivated you, you owe me. I owe her. For 4 years of being told I wasn't good enough. For 4 years of backhanded compliments and public humiliation. Right? The Swiss team has been incredible, by the way. Already introduced me to the group, showed me around the office. Everyone's brilliant. But actually, nice, like genuinely collaborative. No one's tried to tear me down to build themselves up. Novel concept. My technical lead actually said, we're lucky to have someone with your experience. Lucky. To have me. Still processing that. Oh, and Marcus just emailed, dude, Melissa called me 15 times yesterday. She's lost it. She keeps saying you've been brainwashed and that you're having a mental breakdown. Also, congrats on Switzerland. That's amazing. Mental breakdown equals making a decision without her permission, apparently. We'll update after Friday when her flight lands and she realizes I'm not coming. Update 2. The airport incident. Friday came and went. Melissa landed in Switzerland. I wasn't there. Instead, I was having lunch with my new team, learning about the quantum encryption project I'll be leading. Yeah, leading. They were impressed with my distributed systems background. Around 3 p.m., my email started exploding. Where are you? I'm at the airport. I've been waiting an hour. This isn't funny anymore, Trevor. I just spent €30 on a taxi to your company's address. The security won't let me in. Tell them I'm your girlfriend. The security guard says you specifically said I'm not authorized to enter. Are you serious right now? Then came the voicemails, forwarded by my old friend who she'd somehow convinced to give her his number to try reaching me. Trevor, I'm standing outside your office in another country that I flew to for you, and you won't even see me? I told everyone we were moving here together. My parents, my friends, everyone. Do you know how embarrassing this is for me? Ah, yes, her embarrassment, the real victim here. The emails continued into the evening. I'm at a hotel that's costing me €200 a night. You need to reimburse me for this. I came here because of you. The least you can do is meet me for dinner to discuss this like adults. I saw your office. It's impressive. We could have a really good life here, Trevor. Don't throw us away over one comment at a party. One comment. She thinks this is about one comment. Saturday morning, she found my LinkedIn and saw my new title and company. Senior Principal Architect? You got promoted and didn't tell me? I'm so proud of you, baby. See, I told you that you just needed someone to push you. You're welcome, by the way. She actually took credit for it, for the job I got by leaving her. But here's where it gets truly unhinged. Saturday afternoon, I met someone at the hotel bar who works at your company. Small world. We're having drinks tonight. Maybe I'll hear some interesting stories about you. My blood went cold. I immediately messaged my manager, explaining briefly that someone I'd ended a relationship with had followed me here and was trying to make contact through colleagues. His response? Thanks for letting me know. I'll send a company-wide reminder about not discussing employee personal information with non-employees. Do you need any additional support? We take employee safety seriously. Employee safety. Not don't bring your drama to work or handle your personal life. Just support. Sunday, yesterday, was when Melissa realized I was serious. Fine. You want to be alone? Be alone. But you'll regret this, Trevor. You'll realize what you've lost. No one else will tolerate your gaming addiction and your social awkwardness and your complete lack of ambition. Lack of ambition. I'm literally helping develop quantum-resistant encryption protocols that could revolutionize cybersecurity. But sure, no ambition. I'm flying home tomorrow. You've wasted my time and money. The least you can do is pay for my ticket and hotel. €1,500 should cover it. I know you can afford it with your fancy new job. Then the grand finale this morning. I'm at the airport. Last chance, Trevor. Come say goodbye at least. We spent 4 years together. Don't you think I deserve that much? My response, Melissa, you chose to fly here against my explicit wishes. Your expenses are your responsibility. Safe travels. Please do not contact me again. Her final email sent from the plane. You'll never find anyone like me again, Trevor. You'll die alone with your computers and your video games. I hope she's worth it, whoever she is. There must be someone else. The Trevor I knew would never have the balls to do this on his own. And there it is. She can't comprehend that I left for me. Not for another woman, not for revenge, just for me. My colleague Pierre just invited me to his weekend hiking group. You hike? He asked. I don't know, I said. Never really had the chance to find out, he laughed. Perfect, then you'll learn with us. Learning who I am at 31. Better late than never. Update 3. The extinction burst, 1 week later. Thought it was over? So did I. Melissa went nuclear. Monday morning, I woke up to 73 emails. Not from her, she'd recruited flying monkeys. Her mom, Trevor, I'm disappointed in you. After everything Melissa did for you, this is how you repay her? She made you presentable. She introduced you to culture. She loved you despite your obvious limitations. Despite my obvious limitations. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Her best friend Jenna, you're a piece of trash. Melissa is devastated. She can't eat, can't sleep. She had to take time off work. I hope you're happy ruining her life. Her sister, just so you know, she already has guys lining up to date her. Actual successful guys, not computer nerds who run away to Europe because they can't handle a strong woman. Cool. Good for her. Hope one of them enjoys being her next renovation project. But then it escalated beyond emails. Tuesday, my former landlord contacted me. Hey Trevor, I've been getting calls from someone claiming to be your wife saying you abandoned the lease and left her with no way to pay rent. Just confirming you gave notice properly and that your deposit should be returned to you? My wife? I confirmed everything was handled properly, thanked him for checking. Wednesday, she found my parents. My parents, who I hadn't told about Switzerland yet because I wanted to surprise them at Christmas. Mom called me. Trevor, honey, we just got the strangest call from Melissa. She says you had a mental breakdown and abandoned her in a foreign country. What's going on? Spent an hour explaining everything. Mom's response? Oh, thank God. I never liked her. She talked down to you constantly at Thanksgiving. Your dad wanted to say something, but I told him to stay out of it. Dad grabbed the phone. Should have listened to your mother. That girl was bad news. Proud of you for finally standing up for yourself. Send us pictures of Switzerland. Thursday was when she tried to go after my career. Got a LinkedIn message from my old boss. Hey Trevor, just FYI, someone called HR claiming you stole proprietary information when you left for your new job. We shut it down. You left everything perfectly documented and handled your transition professionally. But wanted you to know, hope Switzerland is treating you well. She tried to get me fired from a job I'd already left. The logic is breathtaking. But Friday was her masterpiece. A message request on Instagram from an account with no profile picture. Hey, this is Brad from Melissa's company. Heard you're in Switzerland now. She seems really broken up about everything. Maybe you were too harsh? She talks about you constantly at work. It's actually affecting her performance. Whatever happened between you two, maybe you could just talk to her? For closure? Brad. The investment banker she was flirting with right in front of me. The one she was practically throwing herself at while calling me unambitious. I didn't respond, but I did screenshot it. An hour later, another message from Brad. She showed me the texts where you said you were nothing without her. Seems like you're being petty now that you're successful. Kind of sad, honestly. I never sent any text saying I was nothing without her, because I never believed it. I said, probably, at a party to avoid a fight. That's it. Then the mask slipped. You know what? You're an idiot. Melissa is incredible and you threw her away for what? Money? A job? She made you everything you are. Saturday morning, Melissa herself from a new email. Brad told me he reached out. He's been really supportive through all this. We're getting closer. You had your chance, Trevor. I'm moving on with someone who actually appreciates what I bring to a relationship. My response? None. Let her have Brad. They deserve each other. But here's the beautiful part. While she was orchestrating this whole campaign, I was living my life. Went hiking with Pierre's group last weekend. Turns out I actually enjoy it. Who knew? Joined a local gaming club and met some cool people. Started taking French lessons because why not? Had my first big presentation to the executive team on Friday. Crushed it. The CEO personally complimented my approach to the Byzantine fault tolerance problem we're solving. My technical lead pulled me aside after. "Trevor, I have to ask, your resume was impressive, but you seem to undersell yourself in the interview. You're brilliant at this. Why the modesty?" I told him I'd been conditioned to downplay my achievements. He looked confused. "By who? You're literally one of the best architects I've worked with." By who, indeed. Last night, Melissa sent one final email. "I'm done trying to help you, Trevor. You clearly want to fail on your own. When you're alone and miserable in a country where you don't speak the language, working yourself to death for a company that doesn't care about you, remember that you had someone who loved you despite yourself. You'll never find that again. Despite myself." There it is again. The idea that loving me was some act of charity. You know what? She's right about one thing. I'll never find that again. Thank God. Final update. 3 months later. Debated whether to write this, but figured closure might be good. For me more than anyone else. Life update first. Switzerland is home now. Like, properly home. My French is still terrible but getting better. The team promoted me to technical director last month. Turns out when you're not constantly being torn down, you actually perform better. Wild concept. Started dating someone from my hiking group. Her name's Anna. She's a geological engineer, and the first time I mentioned I game on weekends, she asked if I played anything co-op because she needed a new gaming partner. When I apologized for talking too much about quantum computing, she said, "Why would you apologize for being passionate about something?" Still processing that level of normal human interaction. But anyway, you're here for the Melissa finale. Last month, Marcus forwarded me something with just, "Dude, you need to see this." It was a GoFundMe. Started by Melissa. Title: "Starting over after emotional abuse, help me rebuild." The description was a novel. According to her version, I was controlling and manipulative. I isolated her from friends and family. I secretly planned to abandon her for months. I manipulated her into depending on me financially. What? I moved to Switzerland to punish her for being successful. I had been gaslighting her about her career achievements. She now has PTSD from the trauma of my abuse. Goal: $20,000 for therapy and rebuilding my life. The comment section was enlightening. Mostly her friends initially offering support. Then someone named Derek posted, "Melissa, didn't you tell everyone at Brad's party that Trevor was nothing without you? That you were the best thing that happened to him? This seems different from what you were saying 3 months ago." The comment was deleted within an hour, but screenshots were already circulating. Then Brad himself commented, "We're not together. Stop telling people we are. Also, you said he was a loser who you were embarrassed by. This revisionist history is concerning." That stayed up for a whole day before disappearing. The GoFundMe raised $340, all from her mom and sister, before being taken down. But here's the actual final straw. She applied to my company. To my company. In Switzerland. My manager called me in. "Trevor, this is awkward, but someone named Melissa Rodriguez applied for a PR position. She listed you as a reference and claimed you worked together on several projects. I wanted to check before HR processed anything." I told him the truth, the whole truth. Showed him some of the emails, the fake Brad messages, the GoFundMe. His face went through about 12 different expressions. "We'll be declining her application. Also, I'm forwarding this to security in case she tries to visit again." This is stalking, Trevor. You know what the strangest part is? I don't even feel angry anymore. Just free? Her prediction was that I'd be lost without her, alone and miserable. Unable to function. Instead, I'm making more money than I ever imagined, living in a beautiful country, dating someone who actually likes me for me, and working on technology that might literally change the world. Meanwhile, she's creating GoFundMes and applying to my company because her Brad thing clearly didn't work out. I wasn't lost without her. I was lost with her. Turns out the only thing I needed to find was the exit. Anyway, that's it. Story's over. Block, delete, move on. The Swiss way, apparently. Anna just texted asking if I want to try the new restaurant by the lake tonight. I do. I really do. Life's good when you're lost. Edit. Since someone asked, no, I never paid her that €1,500. And yes, my parents visited last month. Dad spent the entire trip saying, "I can't believe she called you unambitious every time he saw my office." Mom has decided Anna is refreshingly normal. High praise in mom language.